I don't know if y'all heard, and I am not an expert. I'm still learning facts about what happened as it's happening, okay? But this whole like Signal group chat thing is one of the, it's truly one of the more insane stories I've seen in a while. Because look, let's be clear with one another, okay? I can only pass so much judgment because I'm not good with two things: phones and secrets. Don't tell me a secret. Don't. I try to be a good friend, and sometimes being a good friend comes with people trusting you with their secrets, and I wish they wouldn't. I really wish they wouldn't, because as an example, I have a friend who she went to Barbados, and I don't think she was drinking or anything, but they drive on the other side of the road and stuff, and she came back from that trip. I try to be a good friend. I asked her how her day's going. I asked her what her trip was like, just inquiring about her life, trying to make a memory together. Oh, it wasn't so funny when I told you that story about ha ha ha, right? And so sure enough, I asked her how was the trip, and she looking shell shocked. She like, huh. I'm like, hey, you okay? What happened? And she was like, I was driving at night and I forgot which side of the road I was supposed to be on. I just felt a thump, and then I didn't know what to do, so I just kept driving. And now I just know that. Even if I wanted to turn her in, I don't know who to call or anything. I'm like, hey, anybody hit recently by a woman driving on the wrong side of the road? And not only do I not know what to do with that, because I was trying to be a good friend, I was trying to listen, right? That was a mistake. Not only do I just know that now, but I just told all of you. Like, don't trust me with a secret. I'm also not great with phones. I'm really not. It's embarrassing. I have Gen Z friends who look at me like I'm super old because I don't know what anything is. And then it doesn't help that anytime they helping me download a new app or get on a new game or something, I don't know what happens to you. I used to judge people that were older than me so hard, but I don't know what happens to you when a young person is showing you something and you just can't seem to keep your mouth closed. They're showing me how to do it, and I'm like, uh-huh. I'm not old enough for tongue yet, but that's coming, I used to show my granddad stuff. He'd be like, Ain't no way. And so they're showing me how to use stuff on my own phone, and I can't keep my mouth closed, so I know I'm not good with phones. Okay? I be handling my phone. You'd be ashamed of me. You saw me on a day with my phone, flashlight on half the time. Out here struggling, wondering why the battery died. They don't make them like they used to. They don't make them at all. I also talk about how they used to make phones. That's how I know I'm also getting older. I remember other phones. They don't make them like they used. That battery used to last through the full week. Meanwhile, I'm spotlighting my feet. Look like my feet are on patrol. No, it's insane. And so they're showing me stuff with the phone. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what Signal was. When I saw the story break and I saw that all of these higher ups, all these people who are supposed to be handling sensitive information at all times, classified information at all times, were using Signal. They were using the Signal app. In my head, this is how bad it is. In my head, I was like, well, didn't the government isn't that the government app? Like, weren't they just using the government app? And then someone explained to me that Signal is just like American WhatsApp. And I was like, oh, that is bad. That is bad. I'm all for modernization, too. I'm all for keeping things as modern as possible and learning new stuff. I love when these Gen Z kids are. Yeah, that is a loud one. I was trying to. I didn't know what would be ruder. You know what I mean? Like, because I almost said bless you, but then I was like gonna call attention to it. But y'all are like too polite. That is crazy. I was gonna try to talk a little louder, gloss over it and everything, but y'all really at home together. I think that's beautiful that y'all could be like in the mezzanine. Bless you. Yeah. No, I genuinely, when they're showing me stuff, I really appreciate it. I enjoy learning new things and everything. Sometimes I'm intimidated by how much I don't know about a program, but baby steps, you learn stuff. And when I heard that they were doing all this stuff on Signal, I was like, maybe that's too modern. Whatever happened to a phone call? Jeremy, in the movies, aren't they always on the phone doing this? Where they're like, yeah, strike. Like that. You get taken less seriously as a country when you over here calling bomb strikes with emojis. Do you know what I mean? When they make the movie of America Now and you're in it, you don't want to be in it going bloop, 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 because everybody old, so they got the phone on loud, and so it's all the, because you keep it on loud when you type in when you old and everything. I do anyway. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Way less badass than like, yes, okay. 1,600 hours, all right. Mission go. Like that's at least in that Top Gun Maverick world. Imagine, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I was like, I get it now. I get it. A part of me was like, I get it. And Top Gun Maverick did a great job of like not saying which country they were killing people from or anything exactly. It's kind of Russian, but is it really? And then sure enough, John Hamm standing there. That last sequence, they about to fly off that mission. You worried about Tom Cruise and everything. It's like, hey, these kids are his responsibility, You worried about Rooster. Is he gonna rise to the occasion, He gonna feel his daddy's footsteps. And then John Hamm standing there, arms crossed, and he just goes, send them. That is wild. Imagine if that movie was just John Hamm being like, tick, 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 tick. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call real quick. Oh, they got away. And so there's all the talk around it as well. It's so hard to understand any story that comes out now because the spin is as fast as we disseminate the information. So as soon as we were even hearing about this, there were people that were like, actually, they leaked that on purpose. They added this journalist to the group chat on purpose so that they could look like such a cohesive administration, and then he would leak it, and then they'd be like, yeah, we all friends. Because if you're not familiar with what happened, there was a strike that was being planned in Yemen, right? And there's a journalist that accidentally got added to the group chat, and the people in the group chat are like J.D. Vance and some heads of like intelligence and Pete Hegseth and stuff like that. And no one at first was really owning up to who added him. We later find out that I'm pretty sure Walls added him, and it This journalist didn't even think that it was real. It was so dumb. When it happened, this dude, I'm assuming, because he's also a bit older. No. And he said he didn't know it was real until they actually bombed Yemen. And then he, comes forward with, hey, they sent me these plans. He had already left the group as well. When he realized, you're not supposed to be in the room. In the room like, uh-oh. Let me go ahead and notify the right people. Because I've been added to a group chat before that I wasn't supposed to be in. It happens, You just type in these random numbers, add people to the chat. One time, I was chilling on Saturday. Because I'm also. Open it up, and it's just like 6 numbers and just one text. So they clearly just started it. And it says, you coming? I could have been a good person. I could have let them know, hey, everybody, wrong person in here. I don't recognize any of these numbers. I don't think y'all know me, but have a blessed day. But I didn't do that. That day, evil did win. So, you coming. We're waiting on you, right? And so I was like, trying to make up my mind. And then they text back in all caps, what? With an exclamation point and a question mark and an exclamation point. What? And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I don't know if I feel like it today. And they were like, we are all waiting on you. We're all waiting on you right now, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, let me get things together. And sure enough, I was watching TV and I forgot that I was doing this, so some time did pass. And finally I got another text. I was like, hello, all caps, question mark, question mark, question mark. So they mad. And I was like, oh, sorry, traffic. And they text back, traffic with a question mark. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy out here. And then they text back, aren't you upstairs? And admittedly, that was too big of a swing to take, So I was like, oh, yeah, I meant traffic, like, in my mind. Like, there's too much going on right now. And they were like, come down here now, right? And then I text back, what if I don't feel like it? And they text me, we've been waiting on you, only you, this entire time, and the wedding is in an hour and a half. And so I text back, I don't love him, right? And I see bubbles, right? I see the 3 bubbles going. That bubble is furious. It's disappearing a little bit of whoop, and then like coming right back. So in my head, they cursing me out, right? And then it finally comes through, and it's just 3 letters. It's who? And I was like, okay, thank goodness. That was too big of a swing to take. I'm glad that I'm not the bride. And I still don't know who I am in the group. And so now I'm like, hey, because now I'm curious. Now I'm more curious than I am worried about being caught. And genuinely, I was like, why didn't they just, like, if we in the same house, why didn't they just yell? Like, why didn't they? Like, most families would just be like, come on down. Why are you texting? So then I text, don't even respond to the who. I just text, how big is our house? Because to me, this must be the Home Alone house. If they are texting me, and I've been upstairs this entire time, and they waiting this long, it must be such a big house. No one can be bothered to walk up. And they text back, how big is our house? With a question mark. I'm like, yeah, how big is it? And then they text, are you not at your apartment? I was like, okay, downstairs does make sense now. It makes sense why they wouldn't come up. Okay, I get you. Everybody is on point except for me. I understand now. And so then I text back, look, yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought it over. And I just don't feel like coming, right? Quickly text back, it is your sister's wedding and you will support her. And I text back, nah, dog, right? And I knew I messed up because they tried to call me, right? Finally, I had to be like, okay, look, I'm not your relative with a question mark. I'm just like a random guy. I was just joking. But yeah, you should probably text whoever you think you're texting because they were very late. And I just see bubbles, gone, bubbles, gone, gone. And I know I'm getting cussed out. Like it's bubbles, gone. And then finally the message comes through and it says, I don't have time to deal with you today. But please believe when I have the time, I will be addressing you thoroughly. I've never heard a threat like that before. Thoroughly. And so I text back, you text me. So when it comes to the Signal chat, I'm just glad it didn't happen to me. Because I would have made things infinitely worse. They would have been like, we're go for strike in Yemen. I'm like, hey. Y'all ever ate there though? Like, some good spots. Why don't we just let the plane take a day off? Like, chill. They'd be like, who is this? And I'd be like, y'all text me, all right? Asking me who this is. That's like one of the top 5 Southern pet peeves is like calling the wrong number. And you called the wrong number. And then you're like, who is this? And they're like, you called me. Explain yourself. Who are you? You the one in my house right now with your voice? You're the intruder. Explain yourself. And so, there's this whole thing. We still don't even know the half of it of what's been going on with Signal, because we also don't know how long they've been using Signal. We don't know why they weren't using more secure methods. And then through, I'm pretty sure, a German publication, they find that some of the top brass of the government are being so unserious with their data that they were able to deliver messages just from personal emails, old emails, and I don't know, man, this is pretty bad. You know what I mean? I didn't recognize how bad it was, and I think a lot of the general public don't really feel like it was that bad, because people say it's a successful mission. That's why some people think the leak was on purpose, because it's like all they did was leak a successful mission. And it's like, morality aside, of what a successful mission means for a country that, I don't know, like, has anybody checked? Are we at war with Yemen? I don't know. Mission success, like, but you bombed. Why? You didn't even explain why. I feel like no one's even asking why. They're just like, man, do you see that they text the wrong number? And so you have these people appearing before Congress getting grilled by Democrats, which just doesn't really mean much, if we're being honest. Like, getting grilled by Democrats is like getting grilled by a step parent. It's like, you're not my real. But what are you gonna do though? What are you gonna do about it? It's like the first time you get big enough to really step to your dad, and you know you should do it, but you're like, what you gonna do though? I'll show you how to use your phone, old man. I'm training you now. We the same height. No, it's truly devastating. It's bad because never mind the fact that there are so many leaks, so many breaches, so much hacking going on, but there are still, like, potentially entities from other countries that have infiltrated through other hacks that we forgot about because we get hacked so much we don't really care. I knew a dude when I was growing up that had his house robbed so much he moved and didn't tell anybody, but left some of the stuff so they would only rob that place. Bit by bit, consistently. And it feels like that's what we do with our data. We're like, they're gonna get it. Let's just parcel it out. And so you see these officials appear before Congress, and people all of a sudden are getting a very abstract interpretation of what war plans are. Because they're being asked point blank by journalists, like, were those war plans? And they were like, For a group that I'm telling you, I'm positive despises poetry majors. I know for a fact you hate liberal arts, but when they asked you to your face that they were war plans, it's like, what is truly? What is truly an outline of actions, if not enacted upon? Be fit for me? To speak truly of what war is. Does war not start in the soul? War as a concept is all around us. Love is war. Pain is war. Life is truly war. Yeah, but the text message where they said the date and the time and where the pilot was gonna be are those war plans. What does it mean to have a plan, you know? As Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. As the old Southern proverb goes, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Got asked in front of Congress point blank. This was a huge mistake, right? I'm pretty sure it was Walls, maybe it was somebody else, but he was like, no. It's... All right, bro. Okay, do you? Oh. Because I wish I knew enough about how intelligence works, and I wish that I knew enough about how strikes work to explain fully how bad this is. But I think we know. I think we as a society kind of know as soon as you hear the whole story, like, that doesn't sound great. You wouldn't want someone to plan a surprise party like that. Imagine. Your friends try to get you together, and they talking about you so much that one of your friends accidentally adds you, and it's like, well, he's right here. Doesn't that kind of ruin the entire party? No. So much around phones that people don't understand. There was one thing, I didn't understand this until recently. I didn't know that you don't know, you have no idea who you are to a woman until you know how you're saved in her phone. Guys, every man in here, we are not ready for the names, for the shorthand. You know how when you save a name, it goes first, last, company? They using that line too. We are not ready to find out how we are saved in the phone. Telling, that's what telling is. I wish I was wrong. I wish it was just me. I wish it was just me getting bullied in other women's phones. These are my friends. These are people I've known for years, and then they saved me some type of way and just never changed it. Years ago, this is why I first had a hunch. Years ago, I was with a friend, and we were hanging out. This has to be like 12, maybe even 15 years ago. We were hanging out, and she lost her phone. So she was like, can you call it for me? And so I call it. And look, we had never been romantic, you know? And we had decided a long time ago, just be friends, right? You know, and calling. I'm hearing a little... And then I find it in between the couch cushions, and my name saved at her phone was Nope. Guys, we're not ready. There's no world where we're ready for how we are saved. And okay, all right. Some of them are so accurate as well that it's like you'll never recover. Okay, I had a friend who, she was hooking up with this guy, and I guess it was a running joke between her and her friends. This is insane to me. This is insane. It's not my joke. This is what I saw. This is what I saw because I was being nosy, because I was like, I can't be the only one. I needed to not be the only one, because nope lasted. That stayed with me, okay? So I was like, let me see what other people are saying, right? And they say this one guy in her phone, and it just said, Little Hitler. And I was like, can you please explain why Little Hitler is calling you right now? Their reasoning for naming, their reasoning was he had kind of a comb over that was a little messy. I was like, hey, you went straight to Hitler? What's wrong with y'all? There was one time where I was out to lunch with a friend, and her phone was going off, and it was facing up, and I wasn't trying to be nosy this time. I felt vindicated. Nope, it's not Hitler. And so I was like, it could be worse. And so her phone was going off, and then finally she went ahead and flipped it. But when she flipped it, she showed it for a second, and I looked, and it said in the phone, saved in her phone as bed bugs. And so I was like, I'm not trying to be in your business or anything. I'm not trying to. I saw when you flipped it over, because you had flipped it, because I didn't, because I wasn't looking until you flipped it, until it was like this, and I was like, what's that over there? And so I didn't see until you flipped it that you had him say as, do you know who is bed bugs? And she was like, just this guy. I was like, does he have bed bugs? And no. He doesn't have bed bugs at his place. She called him bed bugs because she slept with him one time and can't get rid of him. And so when Walls is like, hey, sometimes people get added to the group chat under a different name, under a wrong name. Hadn't that ever happened to you? And then the nation was kind of like, no, I don't think it has. Not like that, not exactly, unless you have them saved different. You know what I mean? Unless you have this journalist saved as like War Buddy. I don't know why you would accidentally add him to the chat. It's one of the first major screw ups of the administration where they themselves are actually like, oh no. Look, we didn't add him by accident, because I don't know if you saw this, but we didn't add him by accident, okay? He hacked in. Yeah, this dude hacked in. They ran with it for a day and then it died. Because when you look at the journalist, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he doesn't look like he really hacking like that. Like that. I know he got glasses, but not everybody with glasses hacks, all right? Jeez. And so now, you know, they've been ordered by a judge to provide all of these backdated Signal chats that they're definitely gonna delete. Like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, come on now. That's like in one of those sitcoms, and the woman asked the guy for his phone, and he's like, yeah, just give me 20 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. No, it's insane. And it's like, successful mission, but by what metric? Why did we bomb Yemen? I still don't know. I would keep asking, but I'd probably disappear. Curiosity killed me. And then when they were asked, like, okay, but you're definitely switching things up now, right? Like, you've learned from this mistake and you're gonna move on and you're not gonna use Signal anymore. And they, under, I think, oath, went, nah, dawg, nah. Pretty bad. I've been watching a lot of news. Which usually, it's not great. Every once in a while, something will happen that you're like, that's okay. I'll let that slide. It'll be bad news, but it's bad news that you can like live with, you know? Like there's one particular squirrel that's been attacking a bunch of people, and it's like really getting them. It's like the news came. You know how much a squirrel has a scratch? You know how deep it has to get to be newsworthy? Like, the news came and interviewed all these people. So far, he's got like 2 victims. Both people are like, he came right at me. But mostly is bad in a bigger way. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is, I guess, what bothers me the most is that it's who they interview as well. When you're watching the news, you end up watching a lot of rich people, but they won't have anything to do with what's happening, really. So why are you asking what he thinks? He does have money, yes, but like he wasn't even there. That's weird. And then sometimes the news will be about them because they're rich and they're moving money around. And we've done a thing now where we've equated being rich with being important. Because obviously money has power, it can bring you influence. But then at a certain point, you have to just accept that, like, yes, they have money, they don't know anything else. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I mean that from a place of like, we have equated having money with being really smart. You must be really smart if you got the money. Because you must be brilliant if you have lots of money, because it's the only way you can get money. Dude, I'm just saying, that's how they teach it. They're like, man, this guy was really smart. He had all the money. I'm sure he came about it by completely legal and ethical means, but like he has all this money. So he's probably really smart. We should just listen to him. And it's like, if that was how you got money, then yes. But it isn't. There's so many different ways to get money. Some people had an idea. They invented something. And then a lot of people were like, that's a great idea. We're glad you invented that. And then they buy so much of it that now this person is rich. Or you write a book. You write a book. You write a book and everyone likes the book, and then you put the book out and then the book is $20, but then like millions of people like it, which is millions of 20s. Even after taxes, that's still millions of 20s. So now you're rich, but you wrote a book. You don't know about anything but the book you wrote. But somehow, every time we watch them in the news, we watch them in culture, we're like listening to them for an opinion that is not the thing that got them rich. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that feels crazier by the day, because crazier and crazier people keep getting rich. Do you know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Okay, like someone like a William Randolph Hearst, right? Like someone who's like old rich, like black and white rich. Remember that? Just in the no color pictures of them rich. You know what I'm talking about? You can't find a single color picture. If there's them in color, that's AI, because they were before color. So then people who were rich before colors came out, I will extend the olive branch to them that maybe they knew more stuff because they had to know a wide range of things, and there was also less stuff to know in a way. Internet hadn't been invented yet. You could go to the library, but they had whole Dewey Decimal Systems and really just sometimes slowed you down instead of helped you, because then you're like, why am I going by 3.5 instead of just tell me the title? And then they also couldn't look it up like regular, so you had to use the system. They couldn't be like, oh, it's right over there, because the computer said, because computers weren't out yet and you didn't have color. So life was harder. And so I think someone who was very well-rounded and got into business and had a bunch of different businesses could be very smart, could be someone who could answer questions outside of just their field, right? Present day, just present day is harder. It's harder to be smart about everything because everyone has access to almost everything. It also depends on how you made your money. Did you make your money from inventing something? Did you write a book? Did you start a company? And then the company was really successful. So successful, you could buy another company. And then now you have like 3 subsidiary companies under you. They're all doing well. Your big company's doing well. You're very successful. You know what to do when it comes to business. That doesn't mean you know anything about, like, I don't know, the environment. But maybe you made your money millions, maybe even a couple billion, from buying with some starter money, some funding from people. You bought like a pharmaceutical company, and this pharmaceutical company didn't really do anything, and none of the drugs really worked, but you told everybody that they did. You told everybody that they did. You told everybody in a level that kind of made you like a snake oil salesman, like, oh, it's gonna come out soon and it's gonna fix everything. And then people were like, it's gonna fix everything? That's crazy. Almost nobody ever says that, because that's pretty illegal to like tell people something's gonna do something, and then that's fraud. So for you to be like doing fraud on the news with your full chest, your company must really do that. And so then you get more investors, you keep doing rounds of, investing, you build up the company, and then it gets to the point where you're like ready to go public with nothing really. You don't even really have a company, and the drugs don't work. But you can either go public and then try to sell the company, you can just try to sell the company outright, and then now you get to leave with the money you made from the company that somebody else bought. You scammed. You were scamming. And some people are very good at scamming. Some people are very smart scammers. Like when you watch the documentary later about their scam, you're like, wow. Wow, incredible. Good scamming. It wasn't my money. Delicious. So some people have scammed their way into millions or billions of dollars. Some people have earned it in the way that you can earn it through creating something that people in the market want. So then that builds the money up. And some people just come from money. Some people already had money, but you just didn't know who they were because like their parents had sense enough not to try to be famous. So then they passed them a whole bunch of money, and then they showed up one day and they were like, I'm money. And then it's like, oh, okay, did he make all that money to just have money out of nowhere like that? It's like, no, he's actually really rich. And then you get what we have, like I had a friend who was talking to me about Elon and was saying he's like this like super genius. He's like this super nerd genius. And I was like, oh, what makes you say that? Like what, like why would you say that or something like it? Like what makes you think Like, what makes you think he's a super genius? I'm just curious, right? I wasn't even hating. I was just genuinely like, what makes you say that? And he's like, just, like Tesla and everything that he's trying to do with Mars and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, plenty of people try to go to Mars. And that's actually pretty common. I know plenty of people who smoke up on a Friday thinking they can make it to Mars. And some of them go. Some of them have been there. I have been in rooms with people so high out of their mind that you're like, you at least at Venus. There is no way. You stopped it. Okay. All right. Oh, it's trying. And trying is important. Everyone, look, if you have a dream, you should try. I want that for everybody. But trying isn't doing. He's not doing Mars. He's trying to go to Mars. He's trying to go to Mars. Also, Tesla, I'm pretty sure he bought that company, so he's smart enough to buy. He's smart enough to, like, use his money to buy something. I don't know if that makes you a super genius. So you can only equate like money with wisdom or being intellectual for so long before the bill sort of comes due. If you're so smart, what are you gonna do with it? If the answer is just make more money, then like we don't need you. You know what I mean? And I look, I say this because I was watching. Okay, I was watching the news, and I don't even know why this was the B-roll that the news used, but it was a yacht, and I got mad. And I didn't even. I need to be clear here. I didn't get mad because it was like someone had a yacht, and I want a yacht. I don't even. I've joked about wanting a yacht. I don't want a yacht. What would I do with a yacht? Like, what would I even do? You know what I mean? I'm not mad that they had a yacht. I'm mad at the yacht. Do you know what I mean? Look, I don't care if you're rich and then you bought a yacht. I care that the yacht was dumb. This is a dumb yacht. This was, I think it was like $50 million, something like that, but it's a $50 million already. $50 million on a boat. That's like technically not a boat, it's a yacht, but it's a boat. It still does boat. It's a boat. You just don't even, it's a boat. You need to be in water for it to do its job. It's a boat, and a $50 million. And then the boat had, the boat had a pool. The yacht had a pool. So you basically spent $50 million on a bucket. It's a bucket. It's a bucket in the water. That's crazy. That's so dumb. That's why you shouldn't have the money. It's not even for like a more. I wish I was coming to you for like a moral reason of like, I can't believe it. I can't believe someone would spend $50 million on a yacht while there are people starving in their country. I'm not even trying to appeal to you like your morality or anything. I'm saying that if you spend $50 million on a boat with a pool in it, you're in the water. You're in the water. The water's here. You're surrounded by water, and you're like, no, but I don't want that water. That's why you should have nothing. Actually, that's why I hope for nothing for you, because to need a pool, you're in the water. If you fell overboard, you'd be able to swim. You want to go for a swim? Just tip over. You'll be swimming. And instead, you had a pool put on a boat. You had a pool installed on a boat. You had different water in your boat with the water surrounded. That is an I don't want to get up to get the remote level of lazy to swim. I could fall overboard and swim and maybe drown, or I could have a pool. I could have a pool and swim in that and maybe drown and maybe and maybe you will and maybe I hope you do. Like it's a pool on a boat. Sounds like a riddle. Why would you? Then swimming in it, swimming in it, swimming in it just to get out and be like, oh, I think I'm gonna go look at the water. A yacht with an infinity pool on it. A yacht with an infinity pool. You know what else is an infinity pool? You know the original infinity pool? You know the first infinity pool? It was a pool so big, people thought there was an edge and you would fall off. That's how big the actual infinity pool was that you're in right now, but you want it your own. And then on the yacht, this thing will be like $50 million. And then they'll give you a little tour of the yacht. I've watched a tour of a yacht before because sometimes I hate watch things because sometimes I have a lot of like hate in my heart, and you would think the only way to get hate out is with love, but sometimes it is with an overwhelming portion of hate. Like when you actually indulge in the hate and then you have so much hate that it is spilling out of you, and then you look at all the hate on the floor and you're like, that was too much. Let me not do that again. But for the level of hate that I had, I did watch a whole like Lifestyles of Rich and Famous type thing. Let me tour my yacht, right? And so the whole time they were touring the yacht, he was showing me basically an apartment, which is kind of cool. But it's only cool because it's a yacht. If we were on land, you'd be like, oh, you're middle class. Like that's what's so insane about a yacht is that it's like you get a tour of the yacht and already there are things that, like, just to be on the yacht make you uncomfortable. So they'll have like 3 tiers, right? And they'll be walking around the boat, and you see even the cameraman trying to follow the rich person trying to tour the yacht. There's not enough room between the rail and the side of the first floor apartment for you to really walk. So now he's over here being like, we got this one in 2015. Cameraman's trying not to fall overboard, and then he takes you inside and he's like, here's the bed, and the bed is like, fine. It's bed. It's a bed. A bed. It's not mind-blowing. It's not even $50 million worth of bed. It's just a bed with some floor next to it. So far, my mind isn't blown. Nobody's floating. Nobody's like floating in midair and making it look like a experience worth $50 million. And then, they go up to the next level and they're like, oh, and we have a kitchen here. And it's like, the kitchen isn't a kitchen. It's like a kitchenette. Just like as someone who has lived in Brooklyn for a long time, this is my apartment. Maybe that's also why I'm upset. You put my apartment on a boat and then paid $50 million for it, and we're supposed to think that you're smart. No. Why? No, it's also like you're giving yourself away. You already are willing to buy a $50 million yacht while there are people struggling in every country in the world. It really doesn't matter where you're from. And I'm not even telling you what to do with your money. I'm just saying, just know that about yourself, that you're willing to buy a $50 million yacht and show it off as people are struggling in your country, whoever you are, whatever country this is. If you know, right? But then to be like, oh no, I'm just gonna be in international waters for like a kitchenette amount of time. All right, that sounds like crime. That sounds like... You kind of admitted to me that whatever you plan to do something illegal. You're like, no, I'm gonna need a lot of supplies and a kitchenette. And I don't even know why I got mad about this, but they had a shower, but the shower wasn't like a shower. It wasn't, like you've been in a nice hotel room with a shower and you've been like, oh, this is great. And the shower looked a little like prison. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been to prison, but I've watched some documentaries. And the shower, just like, because they were trying to make it sound like it had all these features. They were like, you can get the waterfall. There's also, a spout that shoots this way, and then you have the one that's like mounted into the wall that just shoots across. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. But in the world of showers, I've taken a lot of showers in my life, right, every day, and the shower shooting across either screams high school gym or prison. Like, it's... The shower shooting across... Just a perpendicular shower is not luxury. Floor to ceiling glass. And glass as the floor and glass as the ceiling. So you can look down. So you can look down and be like, look at all the fish. Look at all the... What a mind-breaking... Look at all the fish that are passing by. It's like an aquarium. It's like my aquarium. I guess the world is like my aquarium. It's like, no, you're in the aquarium, you idiot. You're the one. You're actually the one that's boxed in. You moron. You're the one that's in the glass. How does that appeal to you? You're the glass. Like, you're the fish. You're the fish. You are the fish. The fish are swimming by like, what is, oh, wow, I didn't know we got a zoo. I had no idea that we had a zoo. You're the fish. That's crazy. For the glass. All glass. The fish swimming by, wondering, wow, even the fish are like, this is what you do with $50 million. Okay. All right. I mean, live your life, you know. And I think that's also why I got so mad, is because it's like, you bought this $50 million yacht and you're not just greedy, you wasted it. Do you know what I mean? You're going to spend $50 million, impress me. You know, make me go, wow, yeah, that's definitely better than feeding people. See what I mean? It's $50 million. You should be able to get some dope stuff for $50 million and not just have a Brooklyn apartment on water that's shaped like a bucket. You know what I mean? It's just wasted $50 million. All right. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I was angry enough about it, and I just needed to let it out. But it's like, at $50 million, like, just the land. You could buy acres of land. You could own a forest. You could own a forest and everything in it. You could go to a forest that you bought with your millions of dollars and walk right up to Bambi and be like, I own you now. Like, that's, you could do that. And instead you're like, no, it's nice to almost drown in a boat. That happened one time. There was a guy who had a yacht, and he had a pool in his yacht, and I don't know if he got like caught cramp or something, but he did like drown in his pool in his yacht. And I read about that, and I was like, and it's probably not a good response to have. That's not nice at all. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do what I did. But the laugh escaped. It wasn't like, I wasn't reading being like, ooh, I hope I see that. I was just reading, and then it was like, oh, okay. Wow. Because it's just, it happened, I think, because we became so genuinely obsessed with money. Like, you know, the U.S., America, we start out as a sort of land of opportunity. People would come here for a fresh start. Usually it was like a fresh start. It wasn't actually like this land. We have like a money-hungry revisionist history of why people came here. There were people that came here because of religious persecution and for like a fresh start. Because you could get off a boat and just tell them your name was Larry, and they'd be like, all right, and then they'd write it down. There was no, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if you get that in human history ever again, to just show up and be like, no, I'm Dave. I don't even know who you're. That's how we got like murderers. Like, there was a whole theory that like Jack the Ripper may have come to the US. That's how fresh of a start you could get. You could flee London after some of the most horrific crimes known to man, show up at Ellis Island, and even say, yeah, I'm Jack. Like, just, you could even tell them that, and they'd be like, all right, good to go. Mr. Rapar? And people would do their best, and people would try to build themselves up in spite of all different types of persecution, because that was a time in America where like white wasn't even white yet. That is crazy, right? White was not, if you were Irish, it was like, you're what? You know what I mean? Like, it was, like, I've been reading about it in history. Italian, you would be Italian, they'd be like, oh. I don't even know who was white. Looking back at it, it's like, I guess if you were British, But then if you were too British, they were like, I don't think you're loyal to this country. You accent all thick. Just hate. Everybody was hating everybody. Everybody had to build up as best as they could. They came here, especially people who came here with nothing, and then they built themselves. And look, this is where we really started to go awry, on top of already like having slavery and stuff like that. We started to build a system where as long as there was someone beneath me, I was like, I'm fine. It started to become more about who's under you than you even doing well for yourself. It's the thing you see echoed today, where there are people who are not doing well, but as long as this person's doing worse, then they're fine. You know? And as you build up, as you have more and more money, as you can pass down more and more money to your kids and everything, as you can one day be so rich that you pass down the money, and then you pass away, and then your kid shows up at the news one day to be like, I'm money. Like that kind of turned into what the American dream was. It went from like land of opportunity, get a little slice of this place for yourself, really build something, be able to take care of yourself and your family, and it became like, are you rich? People wanted to be rich so bad that we looked at anybody who was rich as wise, that we need to do whatever it is they're doing to get where they are, because I want to be where they are. Never mind their sort of moral character, never mind how they treat people, or even how they got that money. They have $100 million. I want $100 million. I'll do whatever they tell me to do. The type of person that was willing to tell the masses how to get $100 million was not actually telling them that. They were like telling them how to give me $200 million. And I think it doesn't become apparent how crazy that level of wealth is always, because we're used to these people as characters, right? So like you're used to like a Zuckerberg as an idea of a person, because he is an idea of a person. You know what I mean? Like no, look, I'm saying that he is his idea of a person. Like you could. This isn't coming out right. I'm saying that he is doing a perfectly fine first impression of a person. I'm saying, I want you to hear me when I say this. I'm saying that, you know how when your 4-year-old draws you, that's what he's doing as a person. Like he is, as a person, Mark Zuckerberg is being like, hello. That's what people say, right? Hello. And so he has, over $100 billion. And I think we can fathom that money, but we can't. Even when you try to count it, even when people make charts and they're like, guys, a billionaire doesn't even fit on the chart, right? You'll still see someone who is incredibly wealthy, and they only have we know them from being rich, and they only have $500 million. Like that's how crazy it is. It's like they're halfway to 1/100th of where Zuckerberg is. I think that's why I get so frustrated when I see the news, because you're watching the news and you're watching someone like Zuckerberg be on the news, and you're like, why? What could he possibly have to say that should be on the news? And here we're clearly stations are on sides, networks are on sides, right? But no matter what side, they can't just be like, this should never happen. And that's because we let rich people buy up all the news. So now a rich person owns the news. And so even if a journalist, someone who went to school to be a journalist, and someone who would like to tell people the truth as they find it out, they would like to do what they do in France, where in France they're like, this is the news in French. And then they want to do that, but in English for us. And then someone comes up to them right before they go live on air, and they're like, oh, don't say it's bad though, just say it's happening. You know? And so you see Zuckerberg have this huge, huge data center that's gonna decimate everything around it, and why? Like truly why? I don't think we know. We're watching these people, we're watching 5 companies basically prop up the S&P 500. S&P 500 is made of, I think, 500 companies. Like, make no mistake, without those 5 companies, the market would be correcting. It would be wherever it is supposed to be because of how the other companies are doing, which is how most companies are doing, which means it's how most of America is doing. But we've propped it up with these 5 companies. These 5 companies have gone all in on AI, and they've gone all in on AI in a way that functionally does not make sense. You know, you look at Sam Altman, another candidate for person. You know what I mean? Like Sam Altman only looks confused when you ask him a moral question. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. There's a look. All right, I shouldn't even really talk about this, but it was wild. I watched like Tucker Carlson interview Sam Altman, and Tucker Carlson kind of implied, he was like, hey, there was that OpenAI whistleblower who basically said that y'all were violating copyright law and like stealing a bunch of information and everything, and then he died mysteriously. What do you think about that? It's weird to watch Tucker Carlson unleashed on somebody you hate. Like, it's... It's like when the bulldog that you've been scared of in your neighborhood your whole life finally bites your bully. You're kind of like... They seem to be canceling each other out right now. I guess if he was gonna bite anybody, it's good that it's him. And you see Sam Altman like clam up. Here's the thing. I'm not saying, can I be 100% with y'all? Can I be really honest with y'all? I am not saying at all that Sam Altman had anything to do with that young man's death. I am saying that interview didn't not make it look like it though. Like that. I try my best not to judge people because sometimes I don't even know what I'm gonna react like or do next in a certain scenario, right? And I think too often what we do to people is we say, I know they did this thing because of this thing, right? But all I'm saying is when you watch the interview, here's the thing. If I didn't like someone, right? I would be like, what? What kind of accusations? What are you trying to say? What are you... He asks him, and Sam is like, you better start saying words soon. I'm just, one of two things needs to happen in the next millisecond. Either you need to start saying, profusely that you had nothing to do with this, and like you need to really stake your claim that like you had nothing to do with this, and you're maybe even very upset by the line of questioning or something. Or if you are a robot, now would be a good time for your face to like open up, like Men in Black style, and have like a little alien be like, "How dare you?" Right? Like that would be great. Because this, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't get caught cheating. This is asking you about murder, right? No, no, none of that. Just a lot of like, it was very sad, and we, actually no. I was, it's just I don't even know how to react because I've never been accused. And then Tucker quickly goes, "I'm not accusing you of anything." Get out. Tucker be like, "I'm not." Hey, Tucker act like he on a roller coaster at his own interview. What? What? No, I'm not. That's concerning, right? Yeah, someone could beg the question, right? I was, I, and then, look, to be fair, I didn't watch the entire interview. Maybe he came out with a very convincing answer 20 minutes later. But the substantial portion that I watched didn't look great. And I don't know. We have, OpenAI with Sora, with ChatGPT. We have these large language models that are basically meant to take us to like the next level, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that. It just doesn't seem to be the case that it's taking us to what was promised, right? We were promised almost a higher consciousness. We were promised to be able to do our jobs with ease. And then in the backdoor deals, companies were promised that they'd be able to fire all of us. You know what I mean? There were always two simultaneous pitches. One, the pitch to us was like, this is going to improve your life. It's going to make you more efficient. It's going to be faster. It's going to get rid of menial tasks. The pitch to our bosses was like, he'll be out of here in like 3 months. Come on, man. And so far, AI is failing on both those fronts, because we aren't elevated to some new form of consciousness. If anything, AI is giving people psychosis. Plenty of people have AI psychosis and becoming like more normal quicker than people are realizing it's happening. And here's a good test of the psychosis, right? If they talk to the AI like a friend, that's it. Did they name it? Is it called ChatGPT, but they called it Clarence? Then yes. Yes, they're in it now. If you're here and you're like, don't talk about Jan like that, you need to break loose. I pray for healing in your life, that you can break the psychosis. Because these large language models, they are imitations of what it would be like to connect with a person. It's not connecting with a person. It's doing an imitation of a person, and it's doing a better imitation of a person than we've seen so far. Even Zuckerberg can't touch the level of imitation of a person. This is why people think they're talking to a friend. And the understanding is that AI is going to destroy the planet. It needs so much energy to make a video of Pikachu pulling a cop over. The actual model, like you look at Sora, right? Because they just released Sora, and it can do all these things. It can like make Martin Luther King rap or whatever. Like it can do all of these like very weird things that nobody asked for. And apparently, every single one of those things costs OpenAI $5 to make. So like when people are just playing around on the thing and they're just like, look, I made Bob Ross high five Gandhi, $5. All right? So they are burning through money we don't have a sustainable system for the energy. So why keep doing this thing? The theory is that they are doing it because they believe that when they get there, this thing will essentially be some sort of like all-knowing, all-understanding, thinking further, thinking light years ahead of us. It'll basically be God, right? And if they could like own God, then maybe they will be like a God, right? Because you'll basically have the company. You'll have the company that tells you every move to make in the market to own other companies, every move to make to protect yourself from other companies that are come after you. You would be done. You would be, you know what I mean? And that's terrifying. That's a terrifying idea that not only that someone would want that, but that they would barrel towards it at the risk of burning up the planet, of taking up all of the water, like it's an insatiable need for like power, for control, for influence. And then you watch the news and you see that these same people, these people that don't even know how to act like people, spend millions of dollars on a yacht that is basically a bucket. It's a bucket. It is. That's how you know they don't know anything. This is what you spent the money on, knucklehead? I know I'm late to the conversation, but I found out about it late. I don't know how I missed it, but everybody's been arguing over if they'd rather be left in the woods with a man or a bear. It's a thing that started on TikTok, but then everybody's been putting their 2 cents in all across the internet on different platforms. And it's been interesting because I think it originally got posed to women. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a random bear or a random man, right? And I think people were astonished at how many women picked bear because it was a lot. I've actually seen very few videos that weren't bear. Which is shocking. It's like, I don't know, it took me aback. And a lot of dudes on the internet got very upset. They got so angry that they were like, why would you pick a bear? Why wouldn't you be, what, are you out of your mind? Are you stupid? Why wouldn't you want to be left alone with a random man, you stupid bitch? I don't understand what I'm doing right now. You know? And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't know how in my feelings I was about it, but I was shocked. I was just like, oh, wow, geez. And then you actually hear people talk about it. You actually hear, women say like, well, the worst thing that, a bear is gonna do is either attack you or leave you alone, right? A man could do so many worse things to you, And then there was one woman, and I think her sentiment was like echoed around all of social. It's just like, she basically said, at least if I got attacked by a bear, people would believe me. Which I was like, ooh. When I heard it, I was like, ooh. Oof. Where do you go from there? What do you do next? What do you say to that sort of thing, Because it is true. It's a terrifying truth. It's a very sad truth. If somebody got attacked by a bear and ran up to you, you wouldn't be like, nah. Nah, you good. Like, just, it made me question as guys, because the women were saying men could do all different types of things, right? Bear could just attack or not attack, right? And it made me wonder, like, as guys, what are we doing that women would rather pick a bear? They'd rather risk their entire life than to be left alone with us and like hear about a podcast. It's rough stuff. I don't know if y'all saw this this Chiefs kicker. This is when it pays to be a sports fan, because I don't even need to explain all of it. But basically, in case you didn't see it, there was a kicker for the Chiefs who gave a commencement speech at a school that, I don't know, maybe he went there. Maybe that's why they wanted him. Seems like kicker is like pretty low on the list of who I want to bring to my school to sit, because this is like the last speech your kids are going to get at education before you send them out into the world, you know? And he gets up there, and at first it didn't seem to be like that weird of a speech. I saw people were messaging me about it, and I was like, what did he say? As I was watching it at first, I was like, what did he say? He's like, oh, just be a strong man, take care of the people around you, have good values, all stuff like that. And then I kept watching. Because at first I was like, man, what's everybody been out of shape about? And then I kept watching. And then he was like, and to all the ladies here, I'm paraphrasing. To all the ladies here with your little degrees, go ahead and have a baby or your life is meaningless. He didn't really say that, but it's how people felt. And it's pretty crazy because I looked him up afterwards because I was just like, the weird thing about him is that because he's the kicker, he really feels this way. He has the least CTE on the team. These are his true and present values. But then I looked him up, and apparently his mom is a physicist. Which, I don't know. I mean, I guess to a certain degree he's working something out there. If your mom's a physicist, I can't imagine how many times in your life you've been corrected. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's like, I just want a woman who won't talk to me and be right. Yeah, I mean, because his mom is a physicist and he's a kicker. Which means every time he misses, his mom can tell him exactly how off he was. I want to tell you a journey that I've had. I have become invested, captivated by 1-star reviews. Because this is my thing. Look, if you got 1 star as a company, you should be closed. But I guess legally not enough has happened where somebody had to come close you. So the public is taking it upon themselves to warn each other, hey, this place, no. Because when you see a 1-star review, this thing, 5-star review is like, wow, I had a great experience. I want to support this business. I actually also want to make sure other people have as good of a time as I had. So I'm going to spread the word with a 5-star review. 4 stars is like, okay, I had a good time, but there are a couple things they can improve. Let me let the business know. 3 is unnecessary. Like 3 to me is insane, because 3 is you taking the time to go, meh, and it's like, that feels like psychotic behavior to me. I've never left a 3, all right? I've never left a 3. I go full 5 or 1. I either try to spread the gospel or warn my friends. 2 is like something happened. 2 is like, look, I would do a 1, but someone there was so sweet that I want to acknowledge how great they were. Because you'll notice a lot of 2-star reviews have something positive in them to a point where I'm like, why isn't this a 4-star review? And then you get to the end and it's like, but there was blood everywhere. And you're like, oh, okay. All right, I got you. So hospitality check. Wonderful environment check, but lots of blood in the bathroom. I see why you have a 2 now. I see you were trying to give props, you're trying to be fair. I personally have never read a 1-star review that I didn't wish was longer. One time I was just chilling with Logan and I was reading him 1-star reviews that were making me laugh. And I can't remember what the business was now. I'm blanking on the business, but I think it was like a seafood place. It was like a crab shack. And then there was a 1-star review that just said, this place is a chair. No. Legally, you should have to keep typing. Don't just leave that. I don't know what that means. Like, you can also tell, because some businesses, this is a different, look, I'm digressing, but this is a different point. But you can tell when a business, especially a restaurant, is nasty, not just when it has low reviews, but when it acts like a dude on a dating app. You know what I mean? Like they'll be taking pictures of the food, but the pictures of the food too close. Like, it's not a picture of the food on the plate, it's just a picture of 3 pieces of rice with some peas in the corner, and you're like, that's too close to the food. That means the plate is dirty. A 1-star review is a testament to an experience, you know? I live in New York, so there are a lot of 1-star reviews of a lot of businesses that will never close because they're either fronts or they own the building, so they don't have to worry about rent. But there was my favorite is when a place is permanently closed, but you can still read all the information. Like, they haven't shut down the website and the Google reviews are still there. And there was a funeral home. There was a funeral home that had a 1-star review, and I was like, this is my afternoon. Thank you, Google, for picking up the slack. Like I said, every 1-star review leaves you wanting more. There was a 1-star review that just said, they lost my daddy. We don't know where or how long, or they lost my daddy in all caps. One-star review as a whole is incredible because it means that everyone's experience has been similar, right? Like, you'll see places with like a 3.0 and you'll see it really breaks down to like half ones, half fives, right? It just depends on the day, what kind of service that they get. One-star review means everyone agrees, right? And the thing about a business having a 1-star review that blows my mind is I used to live in Chicago. And when I lived in Chicago, I didn't know you could just start a Yelp or a Google review for a place you didn't own. So someone had started like a Google review for Cook County Jail. Cook County Jail as a whole had 2 stars. And it's honestly hard to, like, I've read most of them, right? And one of them was 1 star, right? 1 star. And it just said, the guards are so mean. And then under it, because if you're the business, you can comment under it. So then under it, they were like, you were in jail. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the formerly incarcerated person's side because they didn't refute it. They were just like, this is what we do here. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. There was a 4-star review for Cook County Jail. It's like, I stayed here, wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but I did it. And that's a very objective person. That's somebody who's like, well, I did my crime, and this is as jails go, it's pretty good. Like I don't want to see the business go under. Let me go ahead. Oh, it's incredible. I remember when I started looking at salons, because I go to salons now. I used to go to barbershops, and trying to make that transition, I was just looking up Google reviews for places, and I got taken on a beautiful journey, because all these places, especially like anybody knows who is like trying out a place for the first time, like when you go to get your hair done, you're really putting your life in somebody else's hands. And that's all of us, whether you're going to a barbershop, salon, whatever. Because I've got bad haircuts before. I've got haircuts that left me looking like... They just left me looking like I don't know how to take care of myself, and now I gotta wait till my hair grow back a little bit to look even again, I went to the website of this salon, and I saw all the like beautiful designs of the braids that they do, the variety that they do and everything. So then I went to the bottom of the website, and it says, we're currently not taking clients, right? Which happens sometimes. But I went to their Google just to check if maybe they don't update the website, because I was like, let me call, because maybe something's changed, right? When I get to their Google profile, I just go ahead and I'm like, let me look at the reviews just to check, because all this stuff is beautiful in the picture, but these could be Google images. So I'm reading lots of 5 stars, lots of 4 stars. Overall, they have a 4.7 as a business. So I'm like, they're crushing it, right? I do see a 1-star review, and I'm like, well, let me. Because you don't want to count out a 1-star reviews experience, because that means that whatever happened, as long as they're not lying, whatever happened, happened. And it could happen to you, right? So I'm reading it, and it's like, staff was so rude. I booked an appointment. They were trying to act like they didn't know who I was, and they sent me out, right? And I was like, wow, that seems weird. Because the business can comment underneath their comment. The business said, Chandra, you need help. Chandra, you need help. You tried to fool us and showed up as if you had an appointment, even though it says on our website we are not currently taking clients. You said that you talked to someone that we don't employ about an appointment, and then sat in the chair demanding. I was like, fair enough, wow. That's amazing. I guess you can't trust every 1-star review, but wow. I tried to go, and they were not taking clients. Like I had a very similar experience to Chandra. I was just like, it's like, I don't know, what have I tried? I don't know, maybe I could be slick. And they were like, sir. I read this week that Harvey Weinstein got rushed to the hospital from prison after a heart episode, maybe a heart attack or something like that. And as soon as I read it, I was like, rushed? Do they not know? Oh, you can take your time with Harvey. You don't gotta run any red lights for Harvey. You don't need to put the siren on, just making turns like you. That's gotta be tough. You driving Harvey Weinstein's ambulance. You hitting yellow lights making decisions. Turns a little bit yellow. We wouldn't have made it. I'm sure even the guard in the prison, Harvey over here. The guard's like, oh no. Don't. That's a tough one too, because like I was thinking about it, because I was thinking about it from as many angles as possible, because it's not just he's the person that's part of the headline, but there are lots of people around him in this situation. You got to think about the people at the hospital. You know, you go to the ER, got a real bad headache, and then they run in with Harvey Weinstein. Just having a heart attack, and you're like, but y'all still gonna get me first, right? Like this hurts really bad. Can we? Or maybe you're not a patient. Maybe you're a surgeon. Imagine, because we don't know what happened exactly. Just know that he has some sort of thing happen. What if that dude had to have like open heart surgery, you know? And I don't think he did. I think we would have heard about it. But let's say he had to have open heart surgery. Let's say you're a surgeon. You work at the hospital. You went to school. You studied hard. You learned everything that there was to learn about healing someone, especially someone in dire straits, someone who's really, really down to the wire, right? And you go to school, med school, maybe do some sort of residency. I don't know how it works, but you get hired by a hospital and you come into work on a random Tuesday. Checking into work and everything, about to sit at your desk, and somebody runs in, hey, you gotta come quick, quick, quick. And then they pull you into an OR, and it's Harvey Weinstein on the table. And you're like, uh-oh. Like, hurry, you gotta save him. And you're like, gotta? Like, do I really? It's like, yeah, you took a Hippocratic oath to... I was like, yeah, but when they made us... When they made us take the oath, they didn't mention anything like this. Like, I was saying it in theory. Somebody might have had to do open heart surgery on Harvey Weinstein. Someone might have had to put their hands in Harvey Weinstein. The whole time they're just like, ew, 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 ew. You know, it's insane. It's like, I couldn't get it off my mind too, because it's like everybody involved, you know? They have to do their job, and their job is to heal. But you got to heal a bad person. This dude is the devil. And you know how we know he's like truly, truly evil? Not all the testimony, not all of the stories about things that he's done for decades over his career. We know that everybody knows, because they made him. During the trial was when I was like, man, this guy, oof. This is worse than we could ever imagine, because during the trial, they got him to do the thing that they get dudes to do when they're definitely guilty. When people are guilty and the jury knows it, the judge knows it, and their own lawyers know it, they all do the same thing. You can look at any case in America. They always tell this dude, hey, listen, you're gonna need to act as feeble as possible. Okay? From now on, you use a walker. Do you understand me? We had never seen Harvey with a walker before. You know that man didn't need a walker, but as soon as he was in hot water, he over here can't close his mouth. Get out of here. No. They did the same thing with Cosby. You knew Cosby was guilty because they told that man to act extra blind. Cosby had been losing his sight incrementally over decades, but when it came to the trial, they put glasses on that man and he started acting. You know, he was not that blind. It's one thing to not be able to see. This man was over here putting it on, just Ray Charles and it. You can't feel the sounds. Don't do that. No, because Harvey showed up in that walker, and I was like, yeah. He did everything. Over here. No. Get out of here, man. That's so insane. But I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I really do hope that he's not okay. I don't know. I can't judge anybody for not being great at their job because I've been bad at work before. I've had jobs where I look back and I'm like, they should have fired me. You know what I mean? Like I have a good attitude at work, so people, you know, they're like, oh, he's pleasant, so they let me keep coming in. But there were times, okay. I worked for a very, very short period of time at this like storage unit place. They only gave me a couple hours because I was terrible, right? But I would be late, and I would be so late that you know that level of late where you know you need an excuse? And it has to be good. It has to be great. Like you're so late that now first 10 minutes of late, you can blame traffic, right? Next 10 minutes of late, now you got to blame kids, a sick pet. You got to, you know what I mean? Something. After 30, someone has to be dead. After 30, you have to be brave for showing up. You know what I mean? You have to win them over again and be like, hey, look, you know, my whole family. But I care so much about this job that I was like, let me go ahead and do those 7.5 hours because I wanted to make sure I helped out the company, you know what I mean? And the problem with death is that you can really only use it once a year. Because if everybody die every time you late, you look like bad luck, you know what I mean? Like you look like you're really going through it, right? Because after 30, that's when you have to decide, did somebody die or am I too sick to come in? Because your boss, your manager is already going to be mad because this is a call you should have made 30 minutes before you were late, if not sooner than that. But now that you're this late, now you have to call and basically try to pretend to throw up on the phone, right? At 30 minutes late, you got to call and be like, Hey, I'm so sorry. I know I'm already late, and I love my job so much. I love my job. Like you wouldn't believe, you know what I mean? Like I had a dream last night I was on time. I had a dream that I was on time working, because you know how I love to work there, right? Like, you know, and I was doing my job. I was moving the boxes and everything, and it felt good to be there with y'all, my coworkers, and my boss, who I'm calling right now, who I know is too good of a person to hold this against me. You know I love it here. Now, there was one time I was so late I was so late that I called my job and pretended to be my old brother. It was like, oh, Josh wanted me to call you, and I forgot. He actually told me to call you 2.5 hours ago, the exact amount of time that the manual says that he has to let you know that he can't come in by if he doesn't want to get written up. I meant to call at that time for him, but I forgot. That's my bad. His brother, not him, right? And I just basically called to tell you he died. I used to struggle, but now I think I've accepted like how out of control I am of how I'm perceived as a person, right? Like I don't really get to decide. You can try to like maintain an image, and you can try to like curate a way that people might see you, but you can't actually control it, right? And one like optic I've never been able to fully control is like giving off like hardcore man. You know what I mean? Like just like, oh, that's a man right there, right? Because a lot of like masculinity, a lot of just general male identity is all the way down to optics. You know? It used to be a bunch of things that made you a man, you know? And some of those things were literally just judged by things that women couldn't do. So if you go back to like the 60s and like women couldn't have a credit card or something, and you had a credit card, you're like, I'm a man, charge it. But as women made more strides and the need for a man became less in like women's lives, the whole of what it meant to seem like or be a man started to narrow, and it's narrowed down now to the point of like aesthetics, like just general optics, right? And I know I don't give those off. And not in a self-deprecating way, just in like a true, if I'm being myself, they don't come across. Like I was on a date and I could tell I didn't come off as like that man for her because I blew on my hot food too many times. From the time you're a child, your parents tell you to blow on that food because it's hot. You don't want to burn your mouth, right? And so, and I decided a long time ago that I was as close to done as possible to doing like dumb stuff just to look like a man. I was either gonna like be a man in that moment or I wasn't. I was just gonna be honest with myself. I wasn't gonna take a hot bite and then juggle it in the back of my throat. Take a piping hot bite of lasagna and then that's not me. I'm gonna be real with myself. And so I went ahead and I took my fork, and everyone on planet Earth gets one blow. That's you even checking the temperature. Sometimes you bring food to your lip and it's so hot, it's not even touching your lip yet, but you're like, ooh, food. But I took too long. I also took too long between blows. I took my fork of food, I was like, it doesn't hit right, you know what I mean? There's not just one thing. There's lots of things that I do. Like I also, it doesn't seem very manly, but I use a lot of napkins. And I don't mean like I have a handkerchief that I keep in a suit that's like somebody crying, I can be like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about I have Wendy's napkins in my back pocket. I was on a date, same date as the last thing. This happened right after, where, because I blow my food so hard sometimes, depending on the food, and if it's saucy, it'll splash, right? And so it's one thing if you have a little something here or, here, but if you blow the food so hard that it splashes up a little bit and you got a little food on your nose or your cheek and you start to look like a toddler, that's also unacceptable. Hence, I keep the napkins on me because I blow my food. I'm not giving it up, right? But she was like, oh, you have a little something right here. And so then I grabbed a napkin and I was like, that wasn't the manliest way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I should have grabbed the napkin and smeared it. You know what I mean? Just like, did I get it? I don't care. You know what I mean? That would have been more manly. Because it is just, it's a part of self-acceptance. Just know there's certain things that you do. I'm not saying you can't change them, but like, I'm not gonna be myself and then wonder why people don't think I'm someone else. Do you know what I mean? So if you get a good sense of yourself, you understand why you come off the way that you come off, right? Like, I think there's 2 times where you cannot help, no matter what you try to project, you cannot help but be yourself. The 2 times are when you laugh and when you are scared, right? Because when you laugh, sometimes you don't even want to laugh. Like you, sir. No, I'm just... Sometimes when you laugh, you don't even want to laugh, but it just escapes you because it's so funny. Like when a kid falls. It's not always funny, but sometimes it's very funny. They fall so stupid. Like, it's like, why is his leg up there like that? Like, do they have bones? Like, what's happening? And so you laugh, and then sometimes the laugh escapes, and you can't even control the way that it comes out. It's funny, Same way with fear. Sometimes you get scared. You don't mean to get scared. We would all like to not be scared, right? But sometimes you're fearful, and when the fear escapes you, your reaction, that is who you are. I'll give you an example. I was at my buddy's house one time, and my buddy doesn't have a good house. No, I've told him this to his face before. I'm like, you're in a bad situation. You need to improve your life and yourself, all right? Because he is in a bachelor pad with 3 other dudes, and they keep it, whatever you imagining, that's what it looked like, right? So it's not good. There's whole rags on the floor nobody will claim. I'm like, y'all can't live like this. And so he was having an argument with his roommate, and they were really having it out, which was awkward because I was over there to watch a movie that was now paused. So this doesn't have anything to do with me, but I was just over here. We had already said we're 30 minutes in. I don't want to go home and then try to find my spot and everything. Let's just watch the movie. But then they over there jawing at each other, and it's getting more and more intense, and it's awkward too because my buddy's sitting here and the roommate is standing up. When I say we're sitting here, we sitting on the floor because he doesn't have furniture. It's not a good house, and so we're sitting on the floor, and so then I'm getting yelled over because he's yelling at him, but then he's standing over us, and so I feel like I'm in trouble too, and I'm like, I just want to watch the movie. Then finally his friend lays down the hammer. I don't remember what he said, but he said those like last words that you say in a fight, and he stormed off and he went to slam the door behind him, right? But because they don't have a good house, right? He went to slam the door, and the door fell off. Even badly built homes have good hinges. There's no reason for the whole door to fall off. And so this is what happened. I knew he was gonna slam the door because I was looking at him when he was walking away, because I was like, okay, I can unpause it, right? So when he slammed the door, that was a loud noise that I saw coming, right? Boom. That's fine. Doesn't scare me. But I had turned my head and I had hit play, and the door, the way the hinges decided to give out was incrementally, right? And so the door didn't just fall right off. It just sort of slowly started to fall hinge by hinge until it slammed down, right? But this is a loud noise that I wasn't expecting. So then the door fell and it made that whip sound. You know, like when you just drop a book on its face and I'm not proud of it. But when I get scared enough, I grab my chest with an open hand. And this is hard to come back from. This right here, people don't play games with this. This is bona fide bitch right here. If you do this and you don't want people to see it, you gotta go kill everybody who saw it. Because people will tell people that you did that. This is not the hand gesture of someone who's like, man, I'll kick your ass. That's never said doing this. This is the look of someone that goes to Trader Joe's and says, what do you mean you're out of peach jam? This is a never in my days gesture. This is a my word, my Lord gesture. This ain't what you do when the ops start shooting. I'm over here grabbing a robe I'm not wearing, right? I was reading the news and I saw this Mark Robinson. If y'all don't know who that is, he's a lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and he's running for governor of North Carolina as the GOP candidate. And a bunch of news came out where basically there are these profiles that they found of him from a long time ago being on porn sites saying the craziest stuff you can imagine, right? And this is my thing. First of all, this is a terrifying and dangerous man, and I know that because he leaves comments on the message boards of porn sites. What? A porn site is simple, okay? You get in and you get out. You don't stay to chat. What's wrong with you? You're not here to make friends. You are out of your mind. Why are you just on here being with? That's weird as hell. No one I've ever met has been like, oh, well, I can't wait to log on and talk. That's a real sick man right there. That's crazy. And just so you know, Mark Robinson has been endorsed by Trump. Trump would stump with him and stuff like that, and he's been at Trump rallies and stuff. And then, Mark Robinson's a very big man. He's huge. He's a large guy. And Trump called Mark Robinson Martin Luther King on steroids, because I don't think he understands how steroids work. Like, they don't just make you bigger in general. Like, they don't balloon you. Like, you gotta work out a little bit. You gotta do something. Mark Robinson is over here being like, I think, I don't know what opinions he truly holds. I don't, because, politicians lie and they pretend to be who they think you want them to be. But it seems like he's trying to appeal to the most radical version of a conservative, right? And he has his little taglines, and he gets in with like phrases. I think that's why Trump likens him to Martin Luther King, because he tries to put on like an MLK-esque voice when he speaks and everything, but he says stuff that he sure his base wants to hear. And you know, he said really horrific stuff about gay people, about trans people and everything. And they uncovered all of these things that he had said on the message boards of these porn sites because his username sometimes was his name. Fellas, I understand that sometimes we're in the heat of the moment and you go to one of these illicit sites, you know, and the site asks you questions. Maybe the site, in order to enter, they want an email or something, or they... As eager as you are, please do not give them your actual information. This goes out to everybody. I don't care what you believe in, who you're voting for. Please do not give a porn site your real name and email address you use for work. I know it's the first email address that comes to mind when you've got other things on the mind, but make up an email address real quick. I know that sometimes that takes a second because then you got to make a fake Google account. You got to go back. You got to accept the email from the porn site and then just look. But make it so they don't know it's you every time. It shouldn't be that hard, but apparently it is, because then CNN and you know, the journalists on CNN, I don't remember if they're actually like CNN affiliates, but basically the journalists that looked into it found that on lots of, you know, porn sites, he was using the same username, the same handles, which turned out to be the same usernames and the same handles he used on like Twitter and like... Fellas, even if it means coming up with a fake name right now, just come up with something to say in your mind. The fact that he was using his email all the time, but it makes sense. I guess he would use his email because he was using his name and he was commenting and all that. So he probably wanted to get the feedback from what people were saying to what he was saying. Now that I think about it, maybe it was more intentional than dumb. But he said insane things. This dude, first of all, on a porn site, no one is looking for feedback, really. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's some, maybe some crowd-funded, crowd-sourced. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sure. Look, I haven't been on OnlyFans, but I'm sure with an OnlyFans, there are people that are like, I made this thing. I hope people like it. Let me get some feedback. This is what they like. This is what they don't like. That makes sense, right? But if you're just out in the world watching whatever comes up, and then you're just commenting all the time, you need a friend. This dude said such insane things. Some of them I can't repeat, but a couple of them I will. This dude said, unprovoked, I'm a black Nazi. I don't know where you begin with I'm a black Nazi from a black dude who should have probably left the porn site by now. Like, he said other stuff. He was like, I would rather Hitler in office than the people that are in there now. I'm more confused than angry. I'm not gonna lie. You know, and then he said stuff about how, like, my man, slavery wasn't that bad. I wish they would bring back slavery. I'd buy a couple. Mind you, This is on a porn site. What wires do you have crossed in your head? Does being horny make you angry? What? In what world does that come up? You know, it's very specific. You know? In what world are you on a porn site and then you're like, you know what really needs to be fixed? The Senate. Bruh. What? You know, I do my best. I really do. I do my best to try to understand people, and I don't get this one. This is beyond me. Because even outside of what he said on the sites, it's also some of the things that make him unfit for office are just what he says out in the open. The way that he talks about people who are definitely his constituents. You know? There are gay people in North Carolina. There are trans people in North Carolina. So when he speaks, he's speaking about them and sometimes to them. And he says very sick, hateful things, you know? And just the way that he has this weird, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I try to love everybody, but it's very hard to love a black man that hates being a black man. It is jarring. You don't even know where to start. And the thing that I think maybe he thinks is that his proximity to whiteness and what the white people around him like will be his safety. And it's not going to be the case. Fundamentally, it won't. You know? Because when you say things like slavery wasn't that bad, I wish they would bring back slavery, I'd buy a couple. Who do you think? It's hard to get to the bottom of what this person is thinking, because it's so crazy, you know? It's like it's one of those things where you look at the state of politics, and it's one thing to lie, and it's one thing to say what you think people want to hear, but it's another thing to be an absolute lunatic and already in office, because he's already lieutenant governor. So governor is not that far of a stretch. And he got to be lieutenant governor saying mostly what he says now, minus the porn stuff. And it's so bad that Donald Trump himself, the dude who would stump with them, this is Martin Luther King on steroids. He doesn't know what steroids are. This is Martin Luther King on steroids. Donald Trump's campaign is even telling him, hey, you may need to drop out. If Donald Trump's campaign Donald J. Trump's campaign is telling you to drop out, you should probably leave Earth. The idea that Donald Trump's campaign is like, this guy, ugh. The fact that Trump distanced himself from Mark Robinson, Trump doesn't distance himself from Nazis. The fact that he was like, oof, this is pretty weird, right? You know? Like, Trump didn't denounce the Proud Boys openly. They asked him about the Proud Boys, and he was like, you know, boys will be boys, I guess, or whatever. But you, no. And that's exactly what I mean. Your proximity to whiteness won't save you. You're actually saying and doing some of the same things that the people say and do that Trump didn't distance himself from. But he's getting as far away as he can from your black ass. He's getting so far away from you, you would think he was on steroids. I think a lot about how we think about each other and we treat each other, especially now with like an election on us, you know. Everybody's exhausted. Why do we even do it this way? You know, in like France, they're like 3 months out, they're like, who should we pick? Like we're the only ones that make it a season and a half of TV. Like no one else in the world does this. No one else in the world is like, all right, 2024, let's start talking about 2028. Why do we do it this way? And then you watch people, watch how they react to people, you know? Like I have a tougher time than I've ever had with the things that are being said, you know? Everybody expects politicians to lie. Everybody expects politicians to not care about them. I get that. But what's happening right now is like truly insane. You know, J.D. Vance was at a rally and it's weird. Okay, I've just never seen somebody with less charisma. Like, J.D. Vance makes Ron DeSantis look like Ron White. Like, it's... Because when Ron DeSantis was running, I was like, why he's smiling like that? He was just, do you remember his smile? He's right. He's like, it's like it hurt him to talk to people, person to person. Then J.D. Vance got in there and nobody was happy. And J.D. Vance said, you know, they asked him about how he felt about the whole rumor about the dogs and cats things affecting the Haitian community, why they've been zeroing in on Haitians specifically in Springfield for some reason. You know, he's from Ohio and everything like that. And he basically said, like, and you can look this up for yourself if you think I'm being unfair, but he basically said that, you know, this is a Democrat talking point and a point by the media and everything, as if he didn't say it. And then he basically says, you know, everyone loves talking about those Haitians in the community like they came here legally and are doing everything legally, but they were brought in and they were legalized through a process by Kamala Harris that is unconstitutional. So as long as they're here, I'm going to call them illegal aliens. He's talking about the people who did the right thing, by the way. You'll still be illegal. You'll never not be illegal, in my view. That's wild. You can't do that. You just can't, because the law is supposed to be the law. You're supposed to be the party of law and order. You can't just be like, nuh-uh, that's not... It's not how the law is supposed to work, you know? And look, I think that one of the reasons we get pitted against each other really, really hard is because America makes a promise, and it makes a promise to everybody that they will have it better tomorrow. And a better tomorrow isn't coming for everybody because of systems in place to keep tomorrow like today. So when I see Donald Trump at a rally and he says they're coming from Africa, they're coming from the Middle East, some of them are coming from Asia. These people are coming to our country, they're poisoning the blood of our country, and we have to get them out. I don't just think about people of color. I do think for a second about white people from the past, right? Because white wasn't always this like singular identity. There was a time in America where if you were Irish, you were spit on. Where if you were Italian, you were beat. And everything that Trump says about them is what they said about all those people in the background, right? About their great-grandparents. So they may cheer it on, but recognize if you have Italian descent, if you have Irish descent, if you're Greek, there was a time where you were not welcome here. And they said that your very presence and the presence of your children would destroy the country, would poison the blood. And then we became the most powerful country in the world. So clearly it's a lie. It's so clearly a lie. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this as if I'm like, oh, you know, Don't even have a program, open borders, just let everybody come in, spill it. The thing that they are painting, sometimes it's not even what's happening in the area. And look, I'm going to tell you right now that I think that there should be a fair and legal and simple process for becoming a citizen. Do you know what I mean? And I think that having a process is not un-American. Having a process is not cruel, right? But there has to be a process. But then when that process is adhered to, you can't just be like, no, that's unmanageable. You know, that's wild to me. You know, I have friends who, one of my good friends is Italian, first generation Italian, and he's a bit older, and he tells me stories of what it was like for his family, right? And so much of it was based around fear. These Italians are coming over here, and they're gonna ruin everything with their good food. You know? And they were called criminals. There was an assumption that everybody, no matter who you were, in the Italian community was in the mob, and you were dangerous, and people should stay away from you, you know? It's everything. It's every single thing that's happening now. I'm not saying that there's no possibility of having an immigration problem. I'm not saying that it's not something that needs to be addressed. I'm saying the rhetoric that you use when you talk about people is important. No matter what you do when you build policy, you know? Because I would like the people who are hardworking, the people who are honest, the people who genuinely love America to be in America, you know? Because the same things that they do to immigrants now is what they did back in the day, you know? Maybe you were Irish, and maybe an Irish person in your community committed a crime, and now it's a crime on all of you. Not just one of you did it, y'all all did it. Every single one of you, and we're going to make you feel like you did it. We're going to put up signs, right? And if you're Irish, you know what those signs said. You know what I mean? So where did that get us? And where are we now? You know? Because we didn't send those Irish people back. We didn't send those Italian people back. You know, we found a way to make things work, and you build on a process and you improve it. I'm not saying there's not a process that doesn't need to be improved. I really am not. I'm saying that the way that you talk about people is important. Outside of anything else, whether they share some land with you or not. You know, and the same things that are happening now are what happened back then, you know? I'm scared of having a political process that's it's untenable.